when you step away from the early game and the decision making and how that played out, even the late game, for a team like Origen, with the wealth of experience that these guys have, you then need to start looking, at judging some of the calls versus judging the actual mechanical plays.
Right.
Like the Nexus push at 40 minutes. The call, probably good. Maybe somebody misplayed. Or you can debate, was the call risky and they could have done a safer option. Those are things that Origen have to bounce back from.
All we can say in the moment when we just watch it, the call made sense. You had Elder Drake, you had Baron buff, you had 2 guys dead on the side of Giants. It made sense. But then we have to go back and rewatch why it didn't work. Anyhow, new game, new life, new stories. Rise, 12 out of 12 for Origen.
Yeah, nobody on Origen wants to play it. Look at Peke.
He definitely wants to play
That
Rise,
is a very, very stern-looking face. You contrast the player faces and Giants coming into picks and bans, ecstatic, smiley. BRaum's probably going to be the last one unless they want to make a surprise here.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind now that you've guaranteed yourself only 1 point if you're Origen. So you're potentially lost out on some juicy points there. Oh, this is a surprise ban because, well, Kindred was first pick by Origen yesterday.
Yeah.
It was also first rotation on red side for them. I don't think Kindred is a very good first pick anymore, and I would actually be okay giving away Kindred, but Origen did win those 2 games. So maybe Giants are hitting comfort more than anything and saying we don't want to risk amazing playing the Kindred.
Hey, that ultimate gives you some flexibility in late game team fights.
It does. I mean, yeah, it gives you a little more room to move around, I guess, but I actually don't agree with that ban unless obviously you can secure then the likes of a BRaum on your first rotation for Giants. We know Hustlin likes to play it as well. He likes these tanky supports quite a lot. Because Origen is now debating, should we first pick the BRaum? It is technically a viable first pick, putting more effort on this or emphasis on this Azir, also because Knight had a good game on it.
Yeah, and has played it the majority of his games, in fact.
Now you get the BRaum though. So Giants actually gets something here. So it could have been a situation where there were just a few contested picks. Often if it's 3 of them, you're fine giving away 1 and then you get 2 for yourself and you kind of come away a little bit stronger. And therefore you have a filler ban, which in this case could be the Kindred.
I think Maxlore hovering on the Evelyn, the invisible jungler, as a small homage to maybe his early game from the first in the series. We'll swap over to the BRaum and the Trundle. So, SmittyJ, same champion had the previous game, did get ganked very, very early and had some troubles. Eventually, though, had the impact and had the ability.
And I want to see Gnar from Origen here into this Trundle. Give Soaz a winning lane. It is a clear counter pick, the Gnar. You can keep the Trundle so far away from you at all times. He never gets to be that big bully. And I think it's a great pick. Soaz has always been a guy with very, very flexible champion pool.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that even hovering it just to toy with my emotions, give me a chance of seeing the Gnar from Soaz. I think it would be the correct pick here. When you show Trundle this early, I think you gotta punish it.
All right, so a couple of seconds left before Origen decide.
I like
Hybrid will once again fall back to the Karma.
I think
Gnar is locked in, so Origen, they've got a front line, they've got some poke, they've got the makings of a very well-rounded composition here.
Because now Origen is running that 1-4 comp we talk so often about, but it's Origen with the winning lane. If we look at the matchup up in the top lane, it's Origen winning that one, which means the Trundle loses a lot of value because he's normally supposed to always win that 1v1 for you, so your 4-man group doesn't have to win the entire game on their own because you have pressure always from that top side. A bit like SmittyJ got in the late game in the last game.
Yeah.
Now what you can do if you're Giants is you can say, okay guys, we go full split push, we go 1-3-1. So we now have a champion who can move down and challenge either an AD carry or an Azir in a side lane, because none of them really want to go to that side lane and fight a potential assassin like a Fizz. If we just bring him up, that is an option for Giants if they want to go fully towards split pushing and therefore not relying purely on this Trundle being able to do well in the side lane. And that's also why they can save this mid lane pick for last. Just see the full comp from Origen. Where are we at with these retweets?
I'm not quite sure.
But Azir's already locked in, so it wouldn't even be for PowerOfEvil.
No, it wouldn't be. And let's not kid ourselves. When you're down 0-1 and
yeah, you probably don't
there's
follow
a point
that
on the line, don't think you want to walk away with that risk. But the Ashe steal away for SONSTAR. He's played that once the split, went unkilled. And it is a denial to Peke. So Peke can look to go for a slightly more utility ADC and Sivir, which works very well with Azir, works very well with Gnar.
You deny, I agree. You also get a very good pick against a composition with the stronger split pusher, because Ashe can force team fights, which stops split pushing, because it forces these lanes to always be careful with overextending. Ashe is also fantastic in 1-3-1. I mean, just putting it out there. But there's probably a high chance Giants... Ooh, this would actually be nice. It would be the 1-3-1. And then you have double engage. You have strong side lane pressure. You can even have triple engage, because you would have... I mean, I like this. I think Giants had the right idea in this pick and ban phase, saying, you know what, boys, we're losing that 1v1, so we go 1-3-1 instead of the 1-4. And now you have multiple engage options. You have Lissandra, who you move to the side lane every single time. And even if PowerOfEvil takes teleport one more time, the fact that Lissandra can TP flank and Azir can't really do that gives you a lot more options if you're Giants when it comes to forcing fights.
We'll find out if Giants can make those team fights happen. We'll have to figure out whether or not Giants have the coordination to pull this team comp off, and whether or not Amazing's Lee Sin will actually be good enough to bounce back. Win the early game for Origen, maybe.
Definitely seems to be the call from Origen, getting a jungler who can, especially after level 6, really have a lot of impact. But again, their comp, it's the standard, it's the 1-4, the Gnar sitting and winning his side lane, and then the 3 or 4 members together being strong. Azir has TP because Origen clearly likes it for extra security, being able to like defend 3 lanes at once and then use teleport. But it does make your mid lane a lot weaker, losing out on that summoner spell. Exhaust is normally a fantastic choice on Azir, or Cleanse when you play against Lissandra. And actually, he did change.
Lissandra and Ashe, you have to take Cleanse.
It was just on our screen. He hadn't updated yet. That's why we were so surprised. But he did change it to Cleanse, meaning Origen is fully focused on 1-4.
Yeah, we're going to need to see how quickly they can get their hands on those Quicksilver Sashes. Let's find out if Origen can bounce back as they load up onto the Rift. Taking on Giants in the very last game here of Week 3. It's Origen versus Giants. Guys, jump on Twitter. Let us know what you think.
And let's see. Exciting pick and ban phase from Giants. I like some of the changes. You can then always argue that to get the strongest champions available and yada, yada, yada. But I like seeing adaptations and changes. When you get counterpicked in one lane, you change your strategy. Lissandra, Ashe, Gragas, 3 very, very strong engaged champions. If Origen is playing passive, they will get punished.
Amazing is being forced out of his jungle, backing away as Maxlore will continue to put pressure forward. A lot of excitement here in the crowd as the boomerang comes out. Just going to slow down Giants, maybe looking to set up a lane swap, putting themselves in a position where they've got some vision, and it'll give them the information they need to make a call.
Right, very often when you have BRaum lanes, teams like to lane swap for different reasons. First of all, the BRaum is the best level 1 support when it comes to invading in. So you can always guarantee just invading and setting up these wards. No one will really fight you doing it. And then also, again, he's a melee support, so he requires you to actually play very aggressive in lane to win lane. In this case, he's running Exhaust as well for the late game against Azir, against Sivir. So I think Giants could take the lane swap. Also keep in mind, Gnar against Trundle. It's a matchup you don't really want to give over to Gnar in the early game. So lane swap makes a lot of sense for Giants here. Both side lanes benefit.
I'm looking forward to seeing how both teams execute these team comps, because they're actually very, very different in a lot of ways to the very first game. And my eyes will be on Origen's early game. Will they look to get some control? So as he's snuck himself into this bush,
He's getting experience.
will potentially get spotted out. SONSTAR. Ooh, oh, no, boomerang out. Wanted the CS.
They wanted the 1 CS or
Yep.
2 CS.
Give me that gold. Juicy, juicy gold. I think he denied one as well, actually.
Well, also keep in mind, if he actually had stayed and they found him in there, he probably had to flash and potentially die against the BRaum. So definitely wise to step away. And then you see this more and more. Top laners just TP straight down to the lanes, because you don't need TP as often in lane swap compared to last split, where we never saw this happen.
Yeah.
Because you needed a teleport to threaten tower dives in the early game. The problem now is, for these teams, is towers are so much stronger in the early game, so diving is so risky. So teams just say, you know, we don't want to risk like a 4v3 tower dive where we TP in. Instead, just use it to buy a bit of extra time, bit of extra farm, and then TP down to your lane anyway. Yeah. That's the reason we see this more and more.
I was having a discussion with Pulse off air how the modern lane swap, or the 6-11 lane swap, kind of feels like the standard lanes is just delayed by 6 or 7 minutes. Both teams do a swap, they trade out to turrets, and then eventually it ends, in most cases, what tends to be standard lanes. Regardless of that fact, both outer turrets will be dropping shortly, and no real differences between either of these squads. Interesting to note, Infernal Drake is the first one, so that could impact the decision making.
And this is one of the things about lane swapping on 6-11, even 6-10 after all the Dragon rework. If you do swap to take the first tier 1 tower on top side, it actually benefits you a lot if the first dragon then is a very good dragon, like Infernal Drake. Because once you swap back to the bottom side, you get enough levels under your belt that you can take that tier 1 tower and very quickly take down that dragon with 3 or 4 members. So swapping actually sets you up much better for the first Drake compared to being on bottom side for the first tower, because then it's too early for you to take it, you lose too much CS. Amazing can jump over, don't worry.
Getting excited. PowerOfEvil gets caught by the Ring of Frost, sends the Sand Soldiers forward and burning through his mana pool, but very aggressive in lane here from PoE.
Very aggressive indeed, but as I said before here, look for Giants to push down this bot lane, take tier 2, tier 1 tower, and then just go straight for Dragon. It only requires Maxlore to be on the bottom side of the map when tower goes down, and then SmittyJ obviously to do the same. He can just TP down, which he should be doing. He should TP down once they get to tower, take it down, get the full goal from tower while the rest of the team goes to Infernal Drake, and then you maximize your lane swap. This is again one of the benefits about swapping. He has to teleport from SmittyJ, so great timing, good swap so far from Giants. Something they didn't do last bit very well. Yeah. Definitely an improvement here. And then you just get a whole lot of extra value.
Value being added as Maxwell's stealing away the camp. Almost not really stealing when it's on the strong side of the Giants lane swap. Soaz, no teleport available, so he can't actually jump up to join pick and hybrid in the same way, despite having a couple extra CS, and he does have a temporary advantage as far as the level's concerned, but I feel like this tower play will give Giants this tempo lead and a little bit of a better setup for Smitty.
Basically, one of the only things you can do to try and make up for losing that dragon is rushing for the enemy tier 2 tower on top side, but that's extremely risky to do. First of all, you gotta guarantee you take it down, and second of all, it means your top laner won't have really any minions to farm then after, because you push them so far down. So far everything is good for Giants. Not only do they get the swap because they had weaker side lanes, 2v2 and 1v1, they also do to secure Infernal Drake. You can see them started now, so I'm very happy we got to talk about this and some of the changes in lane swaps that happened, and the fact that Giants are kind enough to show it to everyone. So not only do we get talk about it, we also get to see it.
You know, it just complicates the discussion around Giants as a team now.
Yes.
Because, yes, they're down at the bottom of the standings for now, but so many of their games have been so interesting. You know, whether it's their opponents making decisions which Giants are able to punish, whether it's Giants slowly coming together as a team. We're in week 3 now. They're looking competitive across many of their games, and this is a great start to the lane swap.
And now in this swap here now, because they took Infernal Drake, Soaz will expect SmittyJ to go to top lane, because by now you normally swap into standard lanes again. That means you do not push your lane as a top laner. Think back to old lane swap. As soon as you took a tower, you would sit there as a top lane and wait a little bit, and then you would push it out, because the enemy dual lane would show up, and you want to stop them from early pushing your tower, and you want to maximize farm. But you can see Soaz hovering behind his minion wave right now, because he knows there's such a high chance of SmittyJ showing up, and he wants that lane pushing down towards him. Therefore, set up an early gank for Amazing very easily, force SmittyJ to lose more CS. You can see 20-7, so Soaz here playing it very clever. Do not push out your lane, because you know it's a top laner coming, and that gives you an advantage. As a trade-off for them getting early dragon, you then get a big advantage on top side. SmittyJ now can't really push much further because there's such a high chance of him getting ganked.
And that's even more impactful when you think of the matchup.
Because and more impactful early game.
Yeah, not only has that played into Soaz's hands, but he's got a champion matchup that is going to work in his favor, that's going to look in his direction. So even more potential to garner a lead here for Origen.
So obviously Giants understand that SmittyJ can't push alone. That's why Maxlore is hovering around. So he's not farming right now. He's just there as a backup. He's not ganking anything. He's just making sure if Amazing shows up, then he's here to support. But Amazing is level 6, and Gragas is only 5.
Maxlore doesn't have access to his ultimate. SmittyJ flashes over the wall. Soaz, he flashes over. Amazing dash back. Now Soaz is in trouble. He can't go Mega Gnar. There's a teleport from Knight. Soaz, he's frozen in place. He can't get away, and Knight gets first blood. PowerOfEvil, he stings one back with the Sand Soldiers, and Hybrid will cut off the retreat from SmittyJ. It is a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Origen.
So it looked a little bit weird, but in the end, Origen got what they came for. 2 kills. Maxlore, no flash.
Down.
Here's Peke, here's Amazing.
No way to get away. Amazing goes forward. Peke gets a kill. 3-for-1 to Origen.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you constantly make sure that if you take early Drakes, you get punished somehow. Well, in this case, it's a top laner who's level 4 pushing out past the tier 1 tower. Yes, he has backup, but it's only one guy. Rest of Origen, look at your minimap. They're already moving, so despite this fight looking a little bit tricky at first and a TP used from Knight, everyone else from Giants is here. And it's really cool to see both teams actually doing a lot of the right things. Yeah. Understanding, how to get that early Drake, then also how do you punish it on the side of Origen. SmittyJ, though, was in such a tough situation because if he doesn't push out that wave with Maxlore, Soaz just freezes. And like this, Trundle gets nothing for 2 minutes. But by him pushing out, well, you open up for Origen to make a big play. They get even more. I don't think Knight should ever TP in. Honestly, you just sacrifice the 2 guys in that situation as soon as Origen invests so many members. But again, fun to see how lane swaps have changed.
Yeah, evolved over the years of seeing them and adapting from in the meta earlier in the year.
And it's small things, right? Like, don't push your lane because the top lane is probably going to show up.
Well, let's find out what other shenanigans can happen. Origen, they're grouping up. They're moving into the jungle. Wow, PowerOfEvil, he's got 2 with the Emperor's Divide. Knight and Hustlin can continue to walk away. There's Amazing on the front line. Hybrid will be able to pick up the kill on Knight. Amazing gets bounced backwards. Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike connects. Red buff plus an auto from Hybrid will help secure a double kill. And this is where Origen take the lead.
Yeah, now everything is going wrong for Giants because they also had to use the flashes earlier. Even when they lost so many kills, they also used every single summoner spell, so suddenly Origen are very confident they can look for more. Amazing is level 7 right now on this Lee Sin, and he's been very active in the early game, 100% kill participation, knowing exactly where to be on the map. Clearly Origen knowing how to react when you lose these early objectives, and Giants right now, when you play a 1-3-1 comp, you cannot fall behind early because you play around the fact that you have pressure in lanes, so you can push first. Hybrid takes an arrow.
Ooh, does take an arrow to the face. Doesn't even matter. No real follow-up. Knight was just too far away and can't afford to fall behind. Giants are down 2,000 gold, down 4 kills at the 10-minute mark. And this is what I was talking about previously. The decision to play passive in game 1 literally cost Origen the game. At 10 minutes, they've got a magnificent lead because of these types of plays.
But it's also a situation that Origen clearly has practiced over and over and scrims exactly how to react to the different situations. I've seen a lot of teams in the EU LCS lose that first dragon and then have their top laner push out that wave and never get this situation where they get to gank this level 4 Trundle and kill him because he just walks top and he gets a wave towards him and you're like, well, now you gave them dragon and farm.
Yep, they done goofed if you did that.
Yep, then you're messed up, that's for sure. And now we see how you can punish it. And that's funny because then suddenly you see teams say, oh, we actually don't want to take that dragon anymore because we don't want to risk this situation. We just want to go back to the old lane swap where we keep trading for tier 2 towers and you swap your AD carry and support top.
It's interesting, right? Because
that's evolution.
The risk averse of the defensive teams won't challenge or will just give that dragon up. Hey, let's not run the risk. Origen in this game with this team composition said, let's go for the kill. Let's go for the aggressive play.
And they moved everyone, even the bot lane, moved all the way to top lane, knowing a big fight could happen. And if they won that big fight, massive advantage. Follow up, no flashes on the side of Giants, another fight from Origen. So great to see a very, very proactive team. Definitely not over yet. And we never really had a laning phase here because suddenly we have an Ashe top lane against the Gnar, which is something that does benefit the Trundle. He never gets to sit in the 1v1 right now. Behind as well, obviously.
And that Gnar, by the way, has 113 AD in mini Gnar, 130 in Mega. SONSTAR's Ashe is only 120 AD, so he could lose that fight.
Oh, easy.
You look at the full kit, so Soaz is in such a great position.
Yeah, if you have a top laner, 1v1ing an AD carry in the early game in many, many situations, the good old top laner would win. Then again, in a lane swap, technically you tend to be further behind, but in this case here, Soaz got enough farm and assists that he's doing just fine. And now you have Mid lane under pressure from
Look
Giants.
at this amazing Sonic Wave. Oh,
the bowling.
He tried to use the bowling ball, but it didn't work. Amazing gets caught out. Here comes PowerOfEvil, forces the flash from Knight. SONSTAR, look for the crystal arrow. It finds Hybrid, so does Maxlore. Hybrid's trying to get away. Exhaust comes out, flashes defensively. PowerOfEvil's got to cleanse, but not a lot else. He's surrounded by 4 members of Origen. He's going to look for the Sand Soldiers. Cannot find the slide and glide. And that's a double kill to SONSTAR. Not done yet. Peke, is he going to get stunned? I don't think so. Hustlin's got 3, needs 1 more, won't find it, and Soaz is here to defend.
And it was a play set up by Origen, pushing that mid tower. Amazing, thinking you could just sneak that 1 kill. Missed. Technically made the Gragas miss the Lissandra and therefore didn't get the kill. And then suddenly everyone else from Origen are diving in. Past their own tower, past the tower so they just got killed. When a little bit too aggressive, Giants able to respond, get quite some kills. Game is still wide open, but Giants composition again. They do not want to go full late game here. They want to play 1-3-1 with this Lissandra going to the side lane. She can't if she keeps falling behind in her own lane and she's too weak to apply pressure. So tower goes down. This is the correct play so far by Origen. Even the kick here is perfectly fine. Oh, sidestep
so
by
good.
Knight. Yeah, great sidestep, honestly. And then Amazing gets caught out, and then PowerOfEvil wants to join in, and he has to flash away, and now everyone else from Giants coming down. Great arrow from SONSTAR. Remember how Hybrid had to flash earlier? That's a lie, he actually flashes right now, but I seem to remember him taking an arrow, he just didn't flash from it. Second arrow in the face, second time.
Yeah, causing problems.
Ended up being enough, and then PowerOfEvil.
So, double kill to SONSTAR. That's going to give him a BF sword as we jump out of the replay. And Giants, despite couple kills, they're still down 2,000 gold, and they're still defending what feels like relentless pressure from Origen. That BF sword is going to be useful, especially because Peke's got plus 50 CS at this stage. That early game lane swap and decision making from Origen gave them a really, really significant lead.
Definitely did, yeah. And now a great situation for them where Giants are trying to fan out in their side lanes, but they're too far pushed back on the map. They're a tower down in gold, and Amazing is obviously been extremely active on the map as well. So it's very difficult for Giants now to push out, because when you play 1-3-1, the entire goal is to have lanes that can push past the river, force the other team to sit very far back on the map to defend, and then they're always forced to be reactive. Or they're forced to send like 3-4 guys to one lane to try and kill someone, and then you just take something elsewhere on the map. It's all about cross-mapping all the time when you play these split pushing comps. If you're never able to really push past the river, then your 1-3-1 does nothing. Because the enemy team, it's very easy for them to just push in their waves back to you, then group up together. You never get deep vision behind them to TP flank either, because you push so far back on the map. We need to see Knight get control in that side lane. He should not be against Soaz in this 1v1. Oh, well, actually, technically now it's okay, because SmittyJ is trying to farm up, but later it will be tank versus tank, and then it will be Knight in the lane that's empty.
Yeah.
He pushes it in, and then he TP flanks, or he moves through the jungle, and he dives onto Origen.
There's going to be a lot of pressure for Origen to make sure they have the vision necessary, and that they don't overextend, don't open themselves up to the terrifying combination that could come from Gragas, Ashe, Lissandra. Any one of those engaged potentials can come from any number of angles. And again, the later this goes, the scarier it becomes.
And that's exactly why you want Knight in that lane where he can always leave, and not in the lane where another teleport user is sitting next to him and who can even deal some damage to him.
Yeah.
Because Knight is your engage, together with the Ashe, together with the Gragas. Combine all of that, and suddenly Origen won't be able to push any lanes, because they will just get flanked every time. Knight now been able to push down, because you see Origen trying to swap the Gnar into the Trundle lane. And this is good now for Giants with this top lane push. Mid lane needs to be the second lane they push in. You always need at least 2 lanes going in the same direction, because otherwise they're just going to gank you and the other team.
Oh, look at SmittyJ. SmittyJ is going to have his day ruined. Mega knock from Soaz is flashed away. SmittyJ is going to buy some time. Teleport comes down from Knight. He's stunned up too. Soaz is killed. SmittyJ picks it up. Origen are running for their lives. A defensive flash over the wall from Amazing that was. Now he's back in lane. He's looking for SONSTAR. Dragon's Rage kick has already been used. SONSTAR gets the 3rd kill of the game. And Origen, they get punished.
Yeah, we see another reason for why having Knight in that side lane where he can leave and there's no teleport who can follow him have so much impact, because once Soaz and SmittyJ start fighting, Knight can always join in. It was actually Origen setting up the play. SmittyJ though, once you get that ulti, especially rank 2 ulti on this Trundle, it becomes so hard to kill him. He gets extra stats in there. He can just kite around a little bit. Bought enough time. Maxlore in the mid lane.
Here comes Peke! Special delivery. Emperor's Divide will buy some time, but Maxlore's barrel sends him packing. And Giants, they bounce back from what looked like a devastating opening to the game to take control.
And it all started, Trevor, 5-6 minutes ago when Origen got that tier 1 tower, then went too aggressive, gave up some kills, allowed Giants back into the game. They got to set up the 1-3-1, been able to find picks. We've mentioned so many times the amount of engage on the side of Giants. If Origen are ever stepping forward in a lane, someone can engage. Being it an Arrow, being it Gragas, being it a Lissandra. So many ways for Giants to play aggressive, and they need to keep playing aggressive. Do not allow Origen to just sit and scale up and get these big late game team fights, because then it becomes harder for you to win as Giants. Not impossible. They can definitely still win late game, but it just becomes harder.
Harder. SmittyJ is going to make it very difficult for Hybrid. From downtown, SONSTAR locks up Hybrid.
And what is Hybrid doing there in the first place?
Just putting awards.
Yeah, I respect the amount of engage on the side of Giants.
Yes, it's trouble here for Origen. You know, like that mid lane tower dive that we talked about a few minutes ago, reminiscent of the next push from game 1, right? Gotta go ham, gotta go deep, gotta go forward. And then some small little incremental things, the kick, not finding Knight, the flash away from the wall. And it just
small things, right?
Crumbles down, but it's like the small thing that has the larger impact. Dropping a pebble in a lake, and that ripple goes all the way along, Deficio.
Small little snowball you push down the hill suddenly becomes quite terrifying down towards the end. And honestly, if you're Origen, be happy in the start, be happy the first 10 minutes, and then be super sad the next 10 minutes. Because everything has just gone wrong for you. It's now Giants with also Rift Hill for SmittyJ. That's great in this split pushing composition, makes it a little bit easier for him to deal with Soaz. And just wait for this Knight TP to get back online. He has the cooldown reduction boots, for also the summoner spell reduction. Great choice from him. And now look at this setup. Origen is pushed back on the map. No one is even close to the river on the side of Origen. And suddenly Giants can set up flanks, dives, deep vision.
What I really like about both of the games this series, they had been very even, and they have been so different. The first 30 minutes of the previous game was so even, but look at the map, look at the mini-map. Knight can come in from the side. Does not follow the glacial path, but now he's in a little bit of trouble. One of his cooldowns is blown. Hourglass is available, and a fully stacked rower, because Knight is just so well farmed and well fed at the moment.
He's done a good job with the small side steps, like micro things, dodging Sonic Wave here, dodging the Gragas earlier when he got kicked towards him. Small things, but very, very important. And again, Origen push back on the map. They want to let this group team fight, or they want Giants to maybe overextend, have one guy just diving in. Double TP.
The arrow, it's called PowerOfEvil. He's got no cleanse, he's got no flash. Amazing is caught down as well. PowerOfEvil with a very good ultimate, but the barrel from Maxlore sends him into Giant's hands. Teleport's coming down from Soaz. Giants are low. Soaz needs a lot of time to get that Mega Gnar charged up. Knight goes golden thanks to the Hourglass, and Pick is killed. That's 2 kills for Giants. A hop away from Soaz. He's simply not got enough. Knight's gonna get away with the path, and 2 members of Origen are down.
And this is what we explained earlier. Once you have the map control, you can get the deep vision down as Giants. You can find these openings. That was just Origen walking around in their own jungle. Instant TP reaction from Knight. This man is on fire. Great engage. Rest of Giants playing well. That's a mid tower. Soaz does have Mega Gnar coming up, but it's way too late.
Yeah, Mega Gnar doesn't mean anything with no follow-up. Origen had no team members alive. Giants, they take their 3rd tower of the game, extend that gold lead. They've got double the kills.
And if they can get this next dragon, Mountain Drakes, when you play split pushing comps, is this so good. I was about to say it's the best, at least on some full late game with Inferno, but this is just a great setup. Deep ward here in the Wolf camp. Very hard to spot for Origen also, how many members are coming in at the same time? SmittyJ and the rest of Giants able to come up with Knight again, diving in, locking down a member.
And listen, you've got to give so much praise to the members of Giants who's really changed from game 1 to 2. Maxlore, you cannot compare the two differences. They were polar opposites. Because game 1, he wasn't in the right place at the right time. The few attempts he did make, the barrels were very easily dodged or avoided or missed. And this time round, 1, 2, and 6, Maxlore is connecting on key targets. He's the front line that the squad needs. And he's a big part of the reason that Giants have bounced back from that terrible opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not even fair.
It's a team effort, but
from the terrible pick.
Yeah.
Because their lane swap was actually very good.
I mean, they had the right idea until they took that dragon, which again, we can't really criticize because it's been working for a lot of teams. Like, that's been the way a lot of teams have played around getting early Infernal Drakes. But then it's about, what do you do after? How do you get your top lane at that right position? And they couldn't do that. Lost that fight quite badly because Origen also sent so many members at the same time. Instead, though, we are now 24 minutes in. Giants is in the lead, 10 kills, 2 great dragons, Mountain Drake coming up. And once again, look at your minimap, guys. You have the 1-3-1 set up. We have lanes being pushed down towards tier 2 towers. If you look at the sides, and you just make sure Ashe can always push this wave in mid, so that if Origen send too many guys to one side, well, then you cross-map them. And if they don't, well, they have no river control. And then you take everything in the river. You don't need to kill people anymore. You just need to take everything.
And the interesting thing about this team comp from Giants, it actually requires a lot of complexity to pull off.
A lot of communication.
And communication and planning and making sure you understand where and how far can we push, right? Within safety and within relative strength and within the realms of the team comp. But that actually becomes easier and easier the further ahead you get.
That's the smallest little dragon spawn I've ever seen.
But it could have the biggest impact.
Yes, it could. Mountain Drake again. Origen are trying to steal a Baron in case Giants invest everyone towards the Mountain Drake. Origen know right now that if they just go back to their lanes, then they get pushed down one more time and they can't really do anything because on the side of Origen, like this sort of, their engage is like amazing. Jumping in and kicking someone back. Soaz can't really set up any TP flanks because it's so hard to get deep vision when you push back. Second Mountain Drake for this Giants team. Perfect for them. Baron control. More pressure on these towers. Everything counts for Giants, and they're in prime position right now. But they can't wait too long. If they keep, this 5-10 more minutes without doing anything, you give Origen a very large chance to then come back in the game.
Yeah, you might pull an Origen from game 1.
Fair point.
That's a little too soon to be calling that one. Next Cloud Drake will be spawning. A lot of dragons actually picked up because of how early that very first Infernal Drake was collected. Taking a look at the items really quickly. Different itemization choices here for SONSTAR's Ashe. Peke, he decided to go Infinity Edge into Hurricane, or whatever the order was. This time around, Essence Reaver into Hurricane.
Right, so if I remember Peke's build 100% correct, he went BF Sword into Hurricane into Infinity Edge, which is the old traditional AD carry build for maximum pure damage. I actually like Essence Reaver a lot on Ashe because I think the greatest thing she brings to the team is utility with her arrow, and I think getting a lower cooldown on that is super strong, especially also when you play these comps with a lot of engage and a lot of pick potential. I think CDR is the best to go for, so I like the build here from SONSTAR.
Never run out of mana.
Oh, you never, that's true as well. Yeah. Never run out of mana. Not like old Ashe where you had to activate the Q as well and it drained your mana. And
you know, I bet there are players that never even knew that was a thing.
Maybe.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of new players joining all the time. And
back from Peke's day.
We can always talk about the old days, Trevor. There's been so many things. No more Heart of Gold, still remember.
Oh, RIP.
Yeah,
Hog was the best. Although that was stacked heavily, but this is not the time for a history lesson, Deficio. This is the time to see how Giants continue to push. SmittyJ down bottom. Gonna go toe-to-toe with Soaz in a moment. He's got a level advantage, a pretty sizable CS advantage as well.
And I want to see Giants commit around Baron now. Like, your goal as Giants at this point in the game is to control the top lane with your Lissandra, and then set up deep vision in the jungle where Origen's blue buff is. So right next to the Lissandra. That's your goal.
Okay.
Because then you get full Baron control with your pink wards. You get a few deep wards behind the river as well. So again, around that blue buff of Origen. And you just start threatening the Baron. Because when you start it, you have double mounted Drake. First of all, you force Origen to rush in and try and stop you.
Yeah.
That sets up perfect flanking wards for your team. It also means if Origen ever commits without proper vision, they might just face check right into a Gragas who then engages on them. And again, keep in mind, double mounted Drake. You can rush this Baron so quickly. This setup is very rushed from Giants, though. This is actually not the right setup.
This is risky. This is risky. Giants are peeling away. SONSTAR's fired the arrow. I think PeKe was able to spell shield that one. Teleport from Knight sends him into the waiting hands of a Sand Soldier. Soaz is in Mega. No, he gets the stun. This is where Origen could pull it back. They're in trouble, though. The Boomerang is exhausted. There's a kill. Hustlin is down. Origen, they could peel this one back. SmittyJ will follow shortly. And PowerOfEvil gets himself another. Giants, they bit off more than they could chew. And Origen turned to Baron.
A bad call by Giants. They had everything they needed. Push out your lanes, set up the deep vision first, and then just take it slow. Then you start that Baron when Origen has to run through a jungle with no proper vision, can get flanked. Instead, Giants just TP straight to the Baron and started, and Origen were there. They just ran straight at them. Giants had everything they needed. Double mounted Drake and Infernal Drake. I'm almost tilted from them just straight starting this Baron because it was so easy for them to set up the map like they've done for the last 15 minutes. And they allowed Origen the perfect fight. And what happens? Well, Origen just walks straight in here. Great ulti from Soaz, obviously. No flanking at all from Giants in this fight because they rushed straight at the Baron. That means your comp now suddenly has very little value. And multiple kills for Origen, Baron for Origen. Welcome back, Origen. You can now win the game.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Season 6 Game of Throws. As both teams swings and misses back and forth. But now Origen, they need to use this Baron effectively because with the exception of the call, Giants had used their composition to find picks, to find kills, I think, very effectively. And they can still do that because the game is still even.
Well, again, when you play 1-3-1 and you lose Baron, you lose the map, you can't set up side lanes anymore.
Yeah.
Getting their flank TPs are so hard, you have to just straight up team fight.
And they're looking for it. Knight is gonna find PowerOfEvil. Where is xPeke? He's running for his life. SmittyJ is looking for a kill, but the Boomerang will slow him down. And that means Knight and Hustlin, they're pushing through the mid lane. Giants, they get one, they stop the push.
So good engage here. Summoner spells down for PowerOfEvil. Therefore, they could kill him. As you said, it is not over for Giants yet. It just becomes so much harder for them to win. They were in such a good position, and then suddenly they have to take down Origen in late game fights every single time. All right, we're back. Giants gets to wait out this Baron on the side of Origen. Let's get the replay straight away. So there's no flash from a PowerOfEvil, only a cleanse at this point, and therefore Maxlore gets a great engage onto him, knocks him straight into the wall. Knight dives in, as we've seen before in this game, takes on PowerOfEvil. A tower went down, yes, but this stops Origen from doing more. We kind of reset the map now, Trevor. We kind of reset the map.
We'll find out whether or not Giants can regain control. 1 minute left for Baron. It is remaining in a few members of Origen. I'm looking at the minimap. Teleports will come up for SmittyJ and for Knight. But they need to regain that side lane control. They need to get their 1-3-1 reactivated.
It's so hard this late in the game now. Origen can even take a Dragon Satchel for damage to another Cloud, so they don't get that much value from it, but at least you take it away from Giants. Alright, TPs are coming up for both SmittyJ and Knight.
Oh, this is so sad for Origen. They got themselves 2 Cloud Drakes. Giants got themselves 2 Mountains and an Infernal. Watching now as Origen, they group themselves up. Baron will wear off on this next push.
But again, they've gotten a lot from it, you know, just by stopping Giants from actually keep pushing and using their composition the way they wanted to. Fight starting. PeKe!
Oh, the hunt has already been used. PeKe's in trouble. He's still alive. Not more long, though. SONSTAR takes him down. Origen, they've been routed. It's a double kill for SONSTAR. The barrel comes up to slow Soaz. He gets a stun, but SONSTAR gets 3, and the rest of Origen are running for their lives. Giants, they once again regain control.
PeKe had 2 seconds on his spell shield. He shouldn't be staying in the front without it. Great arrow from SONSTAR. And honestly, yes, Giants messed up at that Baron by just rushing in instead of setting up the map, but Origen has then been caught out twice, and Giants are right back in this game. They have a goal lead once again, can take a tower now as well in the bottom lane. It looked like Origen had their way back in the game. It looked like they were actually now in control, but then 2 fights in a row, they make individual mistakes and Giants punish them.
Right back in this game. I think if you look at the big picture, Giants have been the ones that have been in charge of this game.
Yeah, fair.
And it's up to Origen to try find a way. You're not going to do it with team fights like this.
Peke had 2 seconds on spell shield. Don't even stay near that tower. I know you want to get a few hits on it, then step away. Good Trundle pillar into an arrow, and then suddenly he goes down. And that's your AD carry gone. We're 32 minutes into the game. You can't lose your AD carry like that. No way for you to win the fight then. So Giants, with the goal lead, Hybrid trying to recall in the middle of the lane. Okay.
Yup. That's,
I agree.
I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? That is the decision making. Wow, look at that team fight damage. I mean, it's always a little skewed when one team so heavily wins. And Peke is, you know, the victim that leads to the team fight.
Right, round 2 and Baron coming up very soon, Trevor.
Okay.
This time around, I want to see Giants push out their lanes first, set up a ward or 2 in that blue side jungle of Origen. Blue side, the blue buff jungle.
Blue buff jungle.
Of Origen.
Okay.
And then
The blue side, blue buff.
the blue side, blue buff jungle. That jungle. And be able to set up Knight and SmittyJ to actually TP in. They're
Well,
diving straight at him again, though.
Maxlore's found 2 members of Origen. Amazing and Hybrid are running for their lives. The rest of Origen are like, sorry, bros, that is your problem. PowerOfEvil has to run away from the top lane. Eventually, Hybrid will go down.
Right. You know what, Trevor? Screw setting up the lanes. Just catch Origen every single time. That works way better for Giants anyway. 2 members of Origen stepping into the river against tons of hard engage on the side of Giants, and no one really in position to help them in case they get engaged on. Well, more kills for Giants.
Amazing. He picked up a Guardian Angel. It has already been popped. It has already been used. Giants, they build themselves a 4,000 gold lead. 20-second death time before Amazing is up, and they're just going to continue to push into OG's territory. Set up some vision, I hope, before they back away. And it's just, there's just so many question marks about where and why Origen are where they are.
Still, credit to Giants for actually always finding the openings there. I didn't know if they had like timer on the spell shield before, but this, again, like your other lanes, if you're Origen, are pushed back, and they're trying to push all the way out. You can't sit in the river against Gragas, Lissandra, Ashe. Like, you walking into river here as Origen with 2 members is suicide. So they get punished one more time by Giants. SmittyJ has managed to start a fight. That means Origen going straight for Baron.
So Knight has his teleport available. SmittyJ does not, meaning Giants may be at a small disadvantage. Soaz teleports in. It's interrupted! It's interrupted! I think the pillar stopped him. Knight goes forward. PowerOfEvil's in trouble. The Baron is now helping. The Baron kills him. SONSTAR enlists the epic monster's mouth, and it takes down Origen. This might just be the fight that breaks open the series. Giants, they've got 4, and they turn to Baron.
SmittyJ just kept chasing Soaz. Soaz tried to TP in and join his team in a 5v4, interrupted by the pillar. Now Giants wins another fight. Every single time this team managed to get the proper engage, they win. And it's happened a lot in this game. They made one big mistake. Honestly, it didn't even matter, because now 7,000 gold ahead. Baron buff. Minions, an army of them.
21 kills to 8. And Giants, oh, they are just destroying Origen's chances here. Giants not going to be able to pick up the second inhibitor. Soaz and Hybrid threaten away SmittyJ.
And again, we also got to go back to champ select. At first, it looked like Giants would have some struggling lanes with like the Gnar into Trundle, but then just adapted, picked the Lissandra, which it paid off really well because Knight has been playing it well. So, look at your minimap. Soaz starts his TP, SmittyJ, pillar, interrupts it, Knight joins in, and now all the engage and straight onto the carries, and therefore Giants can take them down with help from the Baron. Obviously PowerOfEvil trying to slide his way out, but great setup one more time for them, and in many ways the correct call by Origen to actually start the Baron there because they are behind and they thought they could TP in and have a 5v4, but then SmittyJ gets to interrupt Soaz.
One more time into the breach. Origen, will they pull the trigger?
Amazing got to steal it.
The monsters of Giants are looking at the Elder Dragon. Not going to be able to be stolen away this time. Amazing gets killed. Hybrid follows suit. SmittyJ taking on 2 members of Origen. And with Elder Dragon and Baron and 2 Mountain Drakes, Giants have got all of the tools they need to finish this out.
They just need to look at a tower and it dies at this point here. 2 more kills, 30 seconds on Amazing. And they're going for more. No, actually, never mind. That was SONSTAR.
SONSTAR, he
passed the wrong way.
Play into the madness.
I think he was like, they're probably back in base. I'll just step in here and kill these minions. Goes down. Still, rest of Giants pushing in. That's an inhib. Bottom lane, inhib in mid lane.
Yeah, there's nothing left here for Origen to defend with. Relying on PowerOfEvil's passive to try and thwart something. Double supers for the next few minutes. And now Giants, they've just got to use those super minions, play it out smart and safe. About a minute left on Elder Dragon buff. Maybe they can just
Will
use that
expire.
as well.
You can use it to go back to base and buy. That's about it.
Yeah.
Now, but let's just see a Giants team.
This is
Guys,
mind-boggling.
we have super minions in every single lane. We got 2 Mountain Drakes. Those Nexus turrets, they will die.
Oh, they will. They will.
So,
So will my voice, by the way.
yeah, I mean, you got to survive for about 2 or 3 more minutes, Trevor. Unless something really crazy happens. I mean, we've casted Fnatic Unicorns, way back, and crazy stuff did happen.
Yeah, just on a similar scale to this, actually, if I remember correctly. 10,000 gold in the lead at 40 minutes. Giants have got 3 dragons. They got themselves a Baron. They've got supers everywhere. The gold graph tells the most interesting story.
I like how it shows where the Baron play happened, and it looked like Origen were back in the game. But the amount of engage on Giants always paying off.
Oh, Soaz is just being melted down. Glacial Fissure comes out from Hustlin.
That's
gonna
a lot.
slow Origen down, but Knight is in trouble. PowerOfEvil's done a lot of work.
Yeah, I think
Knight, but Knight can just back TP in.
Sure, but it buys a bit of time for Origen to defend against all the super minions coming.
And
Keep pushing them in. Just keep pushing them in.
Giants just have to encourage this. Get more supers in the base. Get the supers. Get the Winions. Enlist their help onto the Nexus turrets.
And wait for Maxlore to engage with the flash here. Combine that with all the minions. Hustlin again taking a lot of damage. Giants, they don't really want to commit under these Nexus turrets, so they keep dancing around and just take a lot of poke damage, forced back. Sadly for them, there's no objective to take. No Baron, no Elder Drake, so it's just a lot of farm right now. Moving into Origen's base.
xPeke does his best King Leonidas impression to defend the Nexus turrets. They still stand.
I'm not seeing a lot of 6-packs here, though.
Hey, PowerOfEvil hasn't thrown the Empress Divide. That Sand Soldier wall will help out. Origen arguably lost game 1 because they were overzealous on the Nexus. Giants, they've got way more wiggle room, so they can have some small mistakes. But that's 2 attempts that have been stalled, and Giants looking to re-engage. Ashe arrow onto Amazing. Stun comes out, he's able to dash away. Kicks SmittyJ, and SmittyJ had committed the subjugate. So that is at least 1 ultimate from the front line down.
But one more time, Origen are just sitting in base because there's nothing else on the map. There's no Baron to force them out or Drake. They can just sit here and defend with 2 towers behind them. And Giants, again, Giants can't flank. You can't flank at the enemy base, so they have to kind of walk straight in.
Just go straight forward. PowerOfEvil's able to flash away. The wall comes down from Hustlin. Trigger was a tad early.
Yeah, he just kind of wanted to attack the inhib with his ulti. Nothing happens again for Giants to have to go back.
Deficio, the craziness.
Okay, the 2-3 minutes thing was a lie.
It is upon us. Giants, but they continue to group. They should be able to get this inhibitor.
They need Origen out of this base here so they can flank them. It's just so hard.
Inhibitor's down. Look at that tower. Nexus tower's falling.
And now that's the
SmittyJ's on the
push.
front
That's
line.
the push.
1, 2, I think 3 super minions are under the tower. Nexus turret stays alive for a few seconds longer. Origen, they're not done yet. They're not giving up. But my word, is this going to be a challenge to pull it back.
Origen and the power of 2 Cloud Drakes defend 3 inhibs. Sadly, they didn't.
Cloud Drakes are the wind beneath PowerOfEvil's wings.
Right now, they do allow it to move faster from the fountain to your Nexus turret, which is something, I guess. Anyhow, Giants with Mountain and Infernal not winning yet, therefore we can decide they are of equal value.
You're gonna get one of these. You're gonna get one of these emails from Live Design. So, we need to sit you down and have a discussion about this work relationship you have with the Cloud Drake.
Ah, we're just kidding with the Cloud Drake, man. We love it. Or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right,
Baron. We love Baron. We love Baron, Trevor.
They've
We
been
love
a lot
Baron.
of fun, but this one should be like easy.
Oh, yeah.
There's no ways Origen can contest.
It's kind of what Giants would have hoped for like a few minutes ago, so they got the Baron and then buffed up their minions to make it even harder for Origen to wave, and then just let the minions like zerg down the Nexus. Instead, gets delayed. Inhib in bot lane is alive. Inhib in mid lane is alive. They only got top lane super minions coming. And maybe one more wave in mid. No, actually, it's just a cannon. Boo-hoo-hoo if you are Giants. And we are in the same situation where it's hard for them to engage. Origen has a lot of wave clear because they have a Sivir, they have an Azir. And
Yeah, but that wave clear becomes
Just get in
weaker
here.
against Baron. Look how quickly that gets shredded. Giants maintain control. They reset the supers in the middle lane. Where does their attention go? SmittyJ is going to hold the hand of the super minions in the top lane. The rest of Giants, they now have to deal with a Sundisk.
Ooh,
Not
that's
that
Sundisk. That's a few hits, and that's gone at this point. It is basically just a ugly pink ward right now.
Ugly pink ward.
Yeah, but it's 4 hits.
Yeah, I think it's prettier than pink wards.
It depends. Depends.
Yeah.
I think pink wards look very nice. I'm a big pink ward fan anyway.
Beauty's relevant.
It's about personality anyway.
I'll take your word for it. SmittyJ is inside the base of Origen, has not decided to leave. Soaz, Gnar, it has time. So there is a tiny opportunity here for Origen. Giants need to respect the potential Gnar in game.
It's an amazing again.
It's caught out by the arrow. Knight goes forward, uses the hourglass. This might be the final fight. Empress Divide's buying time. Follow the HP of PeK and PowerOfEvil. The inhibitor goes down, and so does SONSTAR's HP bar. He's forced to back away. SmittyJ's
They're dying, they're dying.
Origen may get aggressive.
No.
They can't find anything. Origen, they don't have enough engage to use those low HP bars.
No, but they can defend. Again. Wave clear one more time. Elder Drake is probably what we're waiting for at this point.
Giants need to get a Kaiju in on this one.
I mean, they gotta combine, just combine all the super minions into one mega minion and then push. But it's
Wait, how do you combine them all into one Mega Minion?
it's a secret trick.
Oh, Minion Wave.
Yeah, all the minion waves is like one
Yeah, but
mega.
you didn't say the word waves.
No, I actually wanted to combine into one mega super minion, but I don't think it's possible.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It is gonna die. Why is PeK there? Why is PeK here?
Why is xPeke there? One of the big members of Wave Clear, Amazing, is now in trouble. The rest of Giants, they're looking for an opportunity. Teleport's coming into the base. Giants may have just done it. 5v4. Soaz is in Gnar. Knight decides not to follow the glacial path. SmittyJ is going to get rooted up in a moment. Doesn't connect. Maxlore knocks back Origen. PowerOfEvil's down.
the game
There's
now.
no more damage. Giants can clean up the fight. They turn their attention to the Nexus turrets. They take them both down. Not before popping Amazing's GA. Hybrid is stand to watch, to wait, to wave. Giants in 46 minutes take down Origen 2-0.
And man, they need a lot of super minions to die before they could win the game. But I feel like we've said this before. PeK, why are you there? Not all they had to do, there's a lot more to do after, but when it came to defending against these inhibs and super minions, it was just stay inside your base. Giants cannot flank you, they can't really get a proper engage. And then suddenly, caught out, dead. Base is gone.
I'm just trying to ward the jungle.
You're an AD carry.
xPeke moved up,
Why are you warding your jungle as an AD carry?
walked all the way up to blue buff, and it allowed SmittyJ to TP in.
To chance that even more,
Top
he
lane.
has a blue trinket. He doesn't even need to walk into the blue buff. Anyway,
Questions aplenty.
I mean, yeah, this is the kind of game where you look at the first like 30 minutes a lot more. And you say, okay, so what happened there, right? Giants fell behind early with the top lane play, so it was a good play from Origen, and then suddenly Origen had a bad play in mid lane and brought Giants back, and we were like, Giants setting up great, 1-3-1, they're playing well. You just gotta set up carefully for this Baron, then flank them, and then they just rushed the Baron instead, and we were like, no, you just basically lost it all. Then Origen got caught out like multiple times, also because there was a lot of engagement on the side of Giants, and it was kind of like, woo, you get it, you get it, you get it, now I get it, and yeah.
Now you want to fight, now you want to fight, now you want to fight.
So if you don't want to rewatch the full game, just watch the last 10 seconds of this, and you got a full too long didn't read.
I think that's very fair.
This is your pin now, Trevor.
Thank you.
Now it's my pin. Okay.
That was the game.
Yeah, now it's
Can I
yours
have the
again,
pin?
and I will take it back.
Wait, I will put it there. And then
Oh,
you
you
can take
Giants?
it. Yeah, I'm
Giants,
Giants
okay.
now. So I'll
keep-
throw it your way, actually.
You also get...
Let's not do that
We've tried
again.
it
Let's
before.
not do that again. Look, that was a very chaotic, exciting game if you enjoy the craziness and the madness.
Yes.
But there is just so many things both of these teams need to stop doing and stop making mistakes for. And yes, it's only week 3 of the summer split, but these mistakes are... At what point are these mistakes inexcusable? You know, when?
I mean, once we start hitting playoffs, really. If a team comes into playoff and haven't fixed issues like this, and then you lose your first BO5 and you're gone, and you won't go to Worlds, most likely.
Yeah.
So that's obviously where these teams really need to step it up. But yeah, again, it was the kind of game where we had some good moves, and then we just had a lot of moves where it was like, no, why are you doing this? Don't do this. And it's hectic, very hectic, but also as casters, because everything is happening like live,
Yes.
it's easy for us also to be like, why are you doing this? And then when we go back and rewatch, you're like, oh, okay, that actually made sense. You just executed it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the kind of game you need to go back and rewatch a few times to really figure out.
Super slow motion.
It's super,
Yes.
except for the last like 10 minutes of super minions just smacking into the base.
But like, you look at these games, and I think as you mentioned right at the beginning of the series, the entirety of the bottom 7 teams
Everyone can beat each
are
other.
so much
Yes.
closer. Everybody can beat everybody. And today it was Giants that took down Origen, went ahead on stage with